Yo, what's poppin'? What is up, all you bunch of casuals out there? Um, UFC 318 fight week is upon us. Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier, obviously in the main event, taking place at NOLA, Narlands, Louisiana. Um, it's a pretty cool place. I've been there. Bourbon Street is it's one of the most unique places I've ever been to. Um, I got really drunk on Bourbon Street, like you do, right? Um, but it's a cool place. If I ever go back there, I think what I want to do is like focus on going and checking out all of the music there. Because I mean, I was like drunk, walking around, going into different bars, and you'd hear like really good music everywhere you went. So yeah, it's a great place, Narlands. Um, by the way, good to see everybody in the chat. We've got Nick. Yeah, Nick, you did win the Tapology League for last week, so now you're tied with Sean Moody for most event wins on the year with 2. So you are in the running for the $100. I have a Tapology League. It's in the channel's description. Whoever wins the most events, I'm gonna give him $100, and I'll just keep doing this every year. So maybe at some point it'll grow. The channel will be monetized, and then like we can maybe even have a bigger pot. But yeah, for right now, just since I restarted my channel, that's the prize. So yeah, congrats on your event win, my friend. I went 8 out of 12. I've been doing really bad on picks the last two or 3 weeks, so I'm really happy that I was able to get a good pick percentage on this card. So yeah, thank you, by the way, for your participation and your support, Nick. Good to see Kiwi, my homie from down under. Mr. C, what is happening? What is up, Lazy Eye? Yeah, you know what? I do think one of my eyes is like, people have said like, dude, I think one of your eyes is smaller than the other. And yeah, but also like I have like light coming in from one side, and I think like sometimes I'm kind of like turned one way or the other, but I might just be making excuses there. Anyway, but yeah, it's time to obviously get into the picks. As I go through the show, let me know if my pick sounds stupid. If you got a better pick, I won't steal them because I'm pretty stubborn on mine. But yeah, I didn't do too bad last week. So let's get right into the picks, shall we? Just readjust this really quick. Thanks everyone for joining, all that fun stuff. So I did, I guess before we get into it, I did see some people defending this card, saying like it actually looks really good on paper, all that stuff. I'm not sure if I'm convinced of that. So as we go through, I'll kind of sometimes I'll be like, yo, this card is trash, and then as I kind of go through the picks, I'm like, wow, a lot of these fights actually are competitive and hard to pick, and I think that is a good marker of like, oh wow, this is a good card, because sometimes you go through a card and you're like, this is a bunch of squash matches. So we'll see. Obviously, the main event is going to be fantastic. Anyway, Carly Judice versus Nicole Calilari, taking place at women's flyweight. Carly Judice is 4-2. She has won 3 of 2 of her last 5, minus 260 as the moderate favorite. She is 26 years old. She is from Louisiana. 5'7", 68-inch reach. Calilari, on the other hand, 8-3. 4-1 in her last 5. She is plus 215 as the underdog. 28 years old, 5'3", and a 62-inch reach. So again, I feel like I remember Nicole Calilari a little more than, or Carly Judice a little more. She got a knockout win over Eunice Dubin 3 months ago, losing a decision to Gabriela Fernandez, and then lost the decision to Ernesta Karakati on the Contender Series. And speaking of Ernesta Karakati, that's who Nicole Calilari's last opponent was. And that was her first fight in the UFC, and she lost a split decision to Ernesta. I mean, I'm tempted to kind of just pick the hometown girl here. I think they both had a pretty competitive fight with Ernesta Caracati, who is just more a kickboxer. So I think both of these women are pretty well rounded. Again, I don't really remember these women's fights that I have seen in the UFC, and none of them really fought in a promotion that is very reputable before coming into the UFC. The one good thing that Nicole Calalari has going for her is she did get in the UFC off a submission versus a split decision loss like Carly Judice did. So that is good. Obviously, getting a head kick KO over Unessi Dubin 3 months ago is pretty good. The one thing you can bank on this fight is that it'll go to a decision, I think. So yeah, I'll probably just ride with Carly Judice, not knowing too much about her, and I'll pick her by decision. The next fight is going to be Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh, who I believe was actually supposed to fight on the last card or 2 cards ago. I think he was a late replacement opponent. His opponent ended up falling out, or maybe it was him. So it is good to see that he's getting a fight, relatively recently after he tried to step in on short notice and the fight fell through. Bruno Ferreira is 13-2. He is 3-2 in his last 5. He is minus 645 as the favorite. 32 years old, 5'10". Jackson McVeigh, obviously UFC newcomer, put in some good work on LFA, Shamrock FC. He's got lots of finish. I mean, all of his last 5 fights have ended in a finish. He's 26 years old. He is undefeated at 6-0. He's fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri, 26, as I just said. And he's 6'4", so he is going to have quite a bit of height and reach on one Mr. Bruno Ferreira. Now, Bruno Ferreira is a very fun fighter. He's like a get or get got kind of dude. He's got knockout wins over Phil Hawes, Dustin Stoltzfus, and he subbed Armen Petrosyan just 3 months ago. Guys he's lost to are like Abus Magomedov, Nursultan Rozabayev. Fortunately for him, Jackson McVeigh does not have a Ove or a Eve in his last name. Again, not knowing much about Jackson McVeigh, obviously he's got a lot of finishes on his record, just like Bruno Ferreira. But as I said, Bruno Ferreira, get or get got kind of dude. So the way I picture this fight going is you got that classic Bruno Ferreira style of just stalking a guy, throwing giant hooks, trying to get him out of there. I love that both of these guys have submission wins as well. So you could see a scenario honestly, you could see a scenario where either guy could get a finish because it seems like that's just their game. Obviously, we know more about Bruno Ferreira, and that is the reason why he is such a big favorite. I am going to go with Bruno Ferreira by round 1 KO, but I will admit that Bruno Ferreira tends to kind of fall off, especially if you can out-grapple him, in my opinion. We'll see if Jackson McVeigh comes in with that sort of game plan. And I think that if he can make it to, the 3rd round or so, he'll have more success, more of a chance. Again, Bruno Ferreira, a huge favorite in this fight. And again, he's get or get got. So you could see a scenario, like you can make the case that like, hey, Jackson McVeigh, he just hangs in there, weathers the storm. He could get a finish himself. But I think that the better option here is to pick Bruno Ferreira by round 1 KO. Had to get some coffee. When will the methed out guy join us to chain smoke and talk like he has a trachect? I cannot read that word. Not today. Good to see you, by the way, Denial. It's been actually a little bit since I've seen you in the chat, man. I got Chuck Liddell for this weekend. Good pick. That's a solid pick, James. I think I'm going to go with that as well. I like the thumbnail. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, got the background of Nola and Dustin. I was gonna just put up like the fight poster like I usually do, and then I was like, nah, I'd be sick to like get New Orleans, and then anytime they go to like a city that they kind of don't go to often, I kind of like to get the background up there. Good to see you, by the way, Scott. All right, next fight: Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzezinski. This is taking place at heavyweight. Ryan Spann, 22-11. Jeez, he's won one fight out of his last four. Minus 230 as the favorite, though. He is 33 years old, 6'5", and he trains out at Fortis MMA. I always say, like, Safe Saud, he's a great coach. I like the way he kind of is no nonsense with his fighters. Ryan Spann's days at light heavy, obviously not going very well. He did beat Ovince St. Preux, then he goes up to heavyweight, fights Waldo Cortez Acosta 3 months ago. And I believe before last weekend, that was the most recent finish in a heavyweight fight in the UFC. I think that now we're kind of learning that Waldo Cortez Acosta is a serious contender in the weight class. A serious contender for, like, the top 5. Maybe not, like, I don't think he's that good. So I don't think that losing to Waldo Cortez Acosta is the biggest knock on his resume. Speaking of winning one fight out of your last 5, Lucas Brzezinski, same. His only win is against Walter Walker somehow. Lucas Brzezinski is very bad. He got knocked out by Kennedy Nzechukwu, Mick Parkin, Waldo Cortez Acosta, who were actually all decent punchers and stuff. But Lucas Brzezinski, man, I've always questioned why this guy is even on the roster. They're trying to get Ryan Spann a win here, I presume. Brzezinski plus 190 as the underdog, 33, 6'4". And you might look at that win on his record against Walter Walker and go, hey, I just saw Walter Walker. He just got a 6 submission win. And Ryan Spann has looked like absolute dog shit lately. Though I do like Ryan Spann. I think that he's a fun fighter. Fun in the way he wins and fun in the way he loses, So he just did not look good. Like he had a pretty good physique down at light heavyweight. And then up at heavyweight, he kind of just looked fat. So I don't know what's going on there. But I am going to have to ride with Ryan Spann in this one. And I think that his best method of victory will be by KO. I think I'm going to go with him round 2 KO. But at the same time, it might be a safer pick to literally just take him by decision. No, I like it. Good to see you, by the way. Hell yeah. Thank you, Scott. Also, went to your Discord, and it's good to see all the pictures you're posting in there. Man, I've been super busy with the boys. It's baseball tourney season. So this week, he's got 7 games total between leagues and travel games, then 2 practices. God damn. Well, don't have a heat stroke out there in fucking the Midwest, man. It's so damn hot out there. Best of luck to the boys with their baseball season, my friend. I haven't even been doing Tapology, and I'm pissed because I would have wrote out that Derek Lewis last weekend. Dude, I know I fucked that up. I don't know why I picked Allison Teixeira. Walter Walker, the heel hook assassin. Damn straight. Oh my god, dude. I think I'm gonna ride with the KO, but dude, you might want to go decision in this one just to be safe, right? Because you never know. Like, both these guys are pretty bad. Hopefully that makes for a good knockout on Ryan Spann's end, but you might also just get a fat heavyweight fight in this one. So I got not high hopes, but I do have hopes that Ryan Spann can be somewhat interesting at heavyweight. So I'm picking by knockout. Next fight, Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. This is taking place at light heavyweight. Jimmy Crute has not gotten a win in his last 5 fights. He's 12-4 and 2. And the 2 have come in his last 3. He is minus 250 as the favorite. He is 29 years old, fighting out at Melbourne. 6'2", 74-inch reach. Marcin Prachnio, 17-8. 2-1-2 out of his last 5 fights. Plus 210. God damn it, light heavyweights fucking sucks, dude. Such a bad division. 37 years old, 6'3", 74-inch reach. He's got a really cool sounding gym name. Tatsujin Dojo. That's sick. I want to train there. All right, so Jimmy Crute at one point was somewhat of an interesting prospect at light heavyweight, I would say. And as of late, dude, he's just been getting cooked, right? Like, got the leg kick injury, Anthony Smith, that was 4 years ago. God, just a lot of these fights, like, I don't know why I'm remembering fights from like 3 years ago and they seem like yesterday. And then the fights now, like the more recent fights, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Got knocked out by Jamal Hill. Draw against Menafield. Subbed Menafield, or got subbed by Menafield in his bounce back. But then 5 months ago, he got a majority draw over Rodolfo Bellato. I was like, wait, did he upkick him? No, it's Paul Craig. So, man, Jimmy Crute, man, just can't buy a win in the UFC, it seems. Marcin Prachnio, he got subbed by Modestas Bukauskas. That was a fun fight. Beat Devin Clark by decision. Got subbed by Vitor Petrino, and he won a decision over William Knight. Remember William Knight? Jeez. And then lost the decision to Felipe Lin. So, I would say Marcin Prachnio is the safer pick here. He's more consistent. I will say that Jimmy Crute, he's got more power. He's a little more dangerous as far as finishing ability is concerned. And I think that Jimmy Crute, he could win this fight against Marcin Prachnio. But I am going to pick Marcin because not only is he more consistent, but he's a more conventional fighter, right? Jimmy Crute, he kind of relies on big shots. Marcin Prachnio is more of a touch guy, and then he'll throw a big kick or something like that. Yeah, man. That fight with Modestas Bukauskas though kind of showed that he can have a war, obviously lose one, but that's kind of not his game plan. I think that I think it's really the kicks of Marcin Prachnio and just the jab, the longer range. Let me see if he actually even has a bigger reach. They have the same reach, but Prachnio just kind of fights longer, right? Like Jimmy Crute is more squared up. I think I'm gonna go with Prachnio, but I am gonna go by decision. I think if you're confident in Jimmy Crute, which I don't even think he's confident in himself, if you're gonna pick Jimmy Crute, I think that the finish would be the smarter route to go on that end. Bresky got this. Future champ Bresky. I hate Jimmy Crute. I would fight him, no lie. His defense is atrocious. Damn. Doesn't Marcin Prachnio have a win over Khalil? Let me check. I'm not sure. Oh, geez. Let's see. He does. He has a decision win over Khalil Roundtree at UFC 257. I did not know that. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, what the fuck? Future champ Prachnio? Jamie Malarkey and Jimmy Crute must be brothers. Jamie Malarkey looks like he looks like a villain in a like a 1940s crime show. It's like black and white. Like I feel like Jamie Malarkey's gonna like rob a bank and like pull out one of those like snub nose revolvers and be like, "Hey, give me the money. See, you can't take me alive, coppers." I don't know why. I just get that vibe from him. Losing to Alonzo should mean immediately being cut. Hey, man, listen, atomic Alonzo Menafield. The guy's got power. I know he doesn't have high fight IQ, but I don't know why I have like a soft spot for Ryan Spann and Alonzo Menafield. I think they fight similarly. I don't mind Alonzo Menafield. Always bet against Crute. Yeah. Well, I mean, here if you were gonna bet though, Marcin Prachnio is the underdog. Shit. And wait a second. 82% of Tapology is picking Crute? What the fuck's going on? That's kind of wild. Yeah. That's kind of an easy pick for me. Again, you can make the case for Crute though on the finish side. Obviously, Prachnio did get finished in his last fight as well. But yeah. Now Crute is killing. Crute is kill or be killed. He will fuck up and run into something like a blind man at a batting cage. Wow. Is Liver King versus Rogan on this card? I think that's UFC 320 in Austin, Texas. Good to see you, though. Chuck McNorris. Wow. Is that supposed to be like Chuck Norris and stuff? Malarkey looks like he's from the Hills Have Eyes. Or wrong turn or something. Another fighter ruined by Pat Barry, and I say that liking Zoe. I always appreciate he goes to war every time, similar to Crute, but Crute is to me a walking L. Damn, how is he the favorite? Malarkey looks more like a hero in a Macca's ad. Damn. Jeez. Did you see the snake that St. Patty drove from Ireland? What? No, but I did see Katie Taylor get a win this weekend. Oh, and when St. Patrick drove the fighters out of Ireland, the snakes out of Ireland. That's my terrible Katie Taylor impression. Malarkey has fetal alcohol syndrome like most Australians. That makes sense. You were actually explaining that to me. The McGregor one. Oh my gosh. I did not. And I'm very glad I didn't see this alleged picture. Did not need to see that. I heard that he did a curl with a small dumbbell with his junk. Dr. Pinar would know about that. What up, Playboys? How are we living, fight fans? We're living great, man. Good to see you. Glad that you came over to my channel from the K1 stream that Isha and I co-hosted together. It's great to see you. Dr. Pinar, what do you think about Conor McGregor allegedly doing a curl with his junk? Is that a sign of a good health? Let me know. McGregor the snake. Conor McGregor was holding the snake between his legs. Yeah. Single-handedly bringing him back to Ireland. Uncircumcised. Crooked looking. It's strong, though. Yeah. It's strong, though. What the? All right, dude. I don't want to talk about Conor McGregor's junk on this stream anymore, all right? Dude, you could do a whole separate podcast on that for many reasons. It's like, oh my God. Jesus. All right. Adam Fugit versus Islam Dolatov, the Versace model. At welterweight. Adam Fugit, 10-4. He's plus 430 as the underdog. He is 3-2 in his last 5. 36 years old. It just says he's from Oregon. It's like, yo, what part of Oregon? 6'1", 77-inch reach. Islam Dolatov, 11-1. Undefeated in his last 5. He's probably on a longer win streak than that. Minus 625 as the favorite. He's from Dusseldorf, Germany, 26 years old, 6'3", 75-inch reach. I feel like it's been a little bit since we've seen Dulatov. 9 months. Wait a second. I thought he already had a fight in the UFC. No, he just got a KO on Contender Series 9 months ago, which, by the way, Contender Series is about to come back. He fought in Sparta and Brave. Got lots of finishes. All of his last 5 have ended in finish. Adam Fugit knocked out Solomon Renfro on LFA 3 years ago. Got knocked out by Michael Morales. No shame in that. Got a knockout win over Kinoshita 2.5 years ago. Got subbed by Mike Malott and then beat Josh Quinlan by split in his last fight. So Adam Fugit, fun fighter, journeyman-esque. Got a journeyman-esque potential, right? Got some good wins. Well, some entertaining wins. Looking at his last 5 fights, though, I mean, he lost to Mike Malott and Michael Morales. Like, no big deal. Those guys are hammers in this weight class, or at least, top 20 guys in Mike Malott. And then, obviously, Michael Morales now ranked. Also undefeated. Islam Dulatov, though, he's just... I see a lot of good things out of him. Obviously, and I don't remember everybody that got a knockout on Contender Series. But I do remember Dulatov, and, like, the guy's super rangy. He's got power. Good movement as well. Adam Fugit, more of the just kind of brawler, right? Islam Dulatov seems like the more polished fighter. And that's reflected in the odds. I mean, he's a huge favorite. As far as a knockout is concerned, I mean, Dulatov been knocking everybody out. I think that's a good method of victory. I will go Dulatov by round 2 KO. I think that Adam Fugit, again, is very scrappy. I think that if he can fight his ass off and possibly get a decision win here, but that's really the only way I see him getting a win. Josh Quinlan is not the best guy. He hasn't fought for a year and he's already 36. So yeah, give me Dulatov second round KO. I think it's pretty cut and dry in this one. I haven't seen the uncensored photo, to be honest, but I've been operating all day. But I imagine it smells like Coke and Proper 12. Great analysis. Fell right into that one. Yeah. Poor Fugit. Fugit beat my boy Kinoshita bad. Yeah, it was a good finish. He definitely has the cheese smell. Oh my gosh. Dulatov brothers are nasty. Wow. I mean, is that even like a thing though? Like, can you strengthen it by? Anyway, I can't take anyone from Dusseldorf seriously. Damn. What did Dusseldorf ever do to you? Kinoshita basically got retired at 24 by Fugit? Yeah. You know what's crazy though is like, and that was another one of the fight that kind of enforced this this theory I have where I'm like, oh dude, guys from Southeast Asia, like, they just can't cut it in the UFC. But as of late, dude, I will say, like, South Koreans, Japanese fighters have been looking amazing in the UFC. So maybe it was the Adam Fugit knockout of Kinoshita that made them kind of step their game up. They're like, dude, losing to guys named Adam Fugit? Come on. Yes, I had to look after, and you can buy a whole set of weights and straps to lengthen and strengthen, and maybe I ordered it already. This is the best live I've ever watched. Okay, I mean, that's going a little too far there, Autumn, but it is great to see you. Hope work was good. Lengthen and strengthen. Now listen, we have Dr. Pinar lurking in the chat. Southeast. I don't believe Japan and Korea are Southeast Asian countries. Okay, maybe I'm retarded. Thank you for calling me out on that, Diego. Asian fighters. Sorry. Yeah, appreciate the correction there. But thanks for joining. Atiba Gautier versus Robert Valentin is the next fight on the card. It's taking place at middleweight. Atiba Gautier 7-1, minus 550 as the favorite. He's from Cameroon. He's the only fighter ever to compete in the UFC from Cameroon. 23 years old, 6'4". Robert Valentin 10-5. He is 3-2 in his last 5. And he's lost to Torres Finney and Ryan Loder, which, by the way, that Ryan Loder fight was a sick fight. He almost knocked Ryan Loder out. Ryan Loder just got the better of him in the war. Losing to Torres Finney, just getting grapple fucked by Torres Finney. I don't think that's the worst loss. That was only 3 months ago. Before that, he was just finishing fools and Aries and RCC. So I like I like Robert Valentin. I think he fights very fun. What I don't like about him is these weird like tattoos. I feel like he's trying to put a curse on me. Every time I see these tattoos, I think they're like Nordic, because he is from Switzerland. He is plus 420 as the underdog. 30 years old, 6'2". So Atiba Gautier, the only fighter ever in MMA from Cameroon. He beat Jose Medina, Yura Naito, and then he was fighting in some random promotions, getting knockouts. And you might say, well, he beat 2 guys that suck. And that's how I felt about him heading into the Jose Medina fight. But I don't know, man. Like in that fight with Jose Medina, I saw so many good things from Gautier that I have really high hopes for him in the UFC, and definitely one to watch. Robert Valentin, is going to make this a scrap. And again, I don't know very much about either guy. I just I've only seen 2 fights of Valentin and Gautier, respectively. But I have a lot of high hopes for this Atiba Gautier guy. Interested to see what happens in this fight, because I think that Robert Valentin is a guy that's going to bring the fight to him and want to have a scrap. But again, I have high hopes for Gautier. I'm going to pick him by knockout. I'll go the second round. Every time I'm not really like sure exactly how a fight's going to end, I always just pick round 2 as the safe pick. So yeah, I'm going to go round 2. Round 1 could be very likely, though. A rare skates tard sighting. Good to see you, email Failson. Now, how are you doing today? Be careful with hog weights, fellas. I've seen them. Wow, that is quite the term. Good men and turn their thunder hammers into mini. Wow. Hey, cautionary tale of I don't even know how to word this. A cautionary tale of lifting weights with your junk. Just be careful. Just study it. Hit up Dr. Pinar. He's the guy. He's the guy to talk to. All things related to your private. Okay, so Autumn. I know that you don't watch MMA, but the most famous fighter in MMA. He just MMA history really. He just sent a picture of some like celebrity where he was like lifting weights with his junk, and yeah. So now it's just that's what's in the news cycle of MMA, right? I think Southeast Asians can't make it because the Thais just do Muay Thai, and the others don't have the opportunity to get in MMA, unlike the Japanese and South Koreans. Well, I also think that there's a lot of factors involved. Least of which, but like a very prevalent one is just that they're just kind of undersized for MMA. The physicality isn't there as much, like their athletic ability. But seriously though, like I think that like with leagues like Black Combat, Road FC, kind of on the come up. Ryzen is obviously doing very well these days. We're getting a little bit more talent development, And it's been very interesting to see how the South Koreans have just been doing great in the UFC, in my opinion, as of late. Again, I don't think that like I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, this is the next like explosion of MMA, and you're going to see a lot of champs from this region. But I think it's cool that they've been doing a lot better in the UFC as of late. Just because I've been a long time detractor and like, oh, dude's from South Korea, like he's going to lose, you know. So it's been making me rethink how I make my predictions and stuff. But yes, that is a great point. Can you lift weights with your junk? Be honest, for real. I haven't tried, but you know what? Maybe I'll have to check it out. But Dr. Pinar, he said you got to be careful, so I'll have to start out small, maybe with I don't know, something a little lighter. FYI, there is a boxing match between two retired rugby league players that will be taking place in about 36 hours. Sonny Bill Williams and Paul Gallen will finally settle their beef in the ring. God damn. There you go. What's it on? If people are interested, they can watch it. Okay, try F5 first. I don't know that. Then build up the muscle. All right, got it. Anyway, next fight will be Francisco Prado versus Vikoli Veretennikov. Francisco Prado, 12-3. He is 2-3 in his last 5, minus 145 from Argentina. 23 years old, 5'10". Nikole Veretennikov, 12-6, 2-3 in his last 5 as well. He's on both men are actually on a 2-fight losing streak. He is plus 125 as the underdog. He is from Kazakhstan. Training out of Orange County, though. 35 years old, 6'1" and a 74-inch reach. So, Veretennikov, let me see. Guys fighting in UFL got a bunch of finishes. Lost a decision to Danny Barlow, and he got knocked out by Austin Vanderford, which I think that was Vanderford's first fight in the UFC. Francisco Prado came in the UFC, fought Jamie Malarkey, lost the decision, knocked out Otman Azaitar, and then he lost the decision to Zellhuber and Jake Matthews. So Francisco Prado, I think I didn't even know he'd taken that many L's in the UFC. He's a pretty damn fun fighter, though. I know he swings big. He kind of reminds me of Bruno Ferreira. Like, I think I've gotten them confused before. Because he swings big. But, man, I mean, his track record is looking like dog shit in the UFC, right? He's 1-3 in the UFC. His only win is over Otman Azaitar. Lost to Malarkey, Zellhuber, and Matthews. Actually, you know what? Zellhuber and Matthews are actually not the worst losses. I don't know. I don't know how this one's going to go, honestly. I have no idea. And again, like, I don't think Veretennikov, like, he had a close fight with Danny Barlow and then Vanderford, who I think is actually really good. I don't really know what to think of this one. I think that Francisco Prado swings bigger, and I think Vikole Veretennikov is a little bit more technical. Obviously, he was getting knockouts in the regional scene. I think that if you're going to go knockout, you go Francisco Prado, and if you go decision, you pick Veretennikov. I think I'm going to ride with Prado here. You know, I love picking decisions, though. God damn, I don't know enough about these fighters to make a really good pick. But yeah, I'll just go Veretennikov by decision. But I don't know, man. I like Francisco Prado. Also, you know what? I am going to pick Prado because I think he has more experience over better competition. Veretennikov is a little more experienced, being 35. Actually, you know what? They have the same amount of fights, damn near. He only has 3 more. So yeah, I'm gonna actually pick Prado, and I'm gonna have high hopes for him and say he rebounds with a KO2. I'll look into it. All right, sounds good. Now you just want barely to be able to flex it. It'll waive. Oh my gosh, getting Australian boxing lens is hard work. Okay, I didn't take their size into account, which is definitely true. But Joshua Van is a great example of Southeast Asia who's made it. I'd probably say featherweight and bantamweight would be their divisions. There's a guy at welterweight though, Sung Kyo. That guy's sick. That guy's sick, and like he's from South Korea. Super jacked on that guy. Oh, Lynx, got it. I'd suggest. Dr. Pinar is a great addition to the show. I'd suggest, keep in mind, I'm only licensed in California and Arizona, to start with light calisthenics. Lay face down between two chairs and let gravity pull your hog towards the Earth's core. This is great advice. This is great advice. You should start a podcast where you just kind of go over everything in the men's junk world. All about core strength. Oh my god. It's on Stan pay-per-view for 70 AUD. Hopefully it'll be on Stream East. Yeah. $70. They must be some famous rugby players. The Devil Wears Prado. Fantastic. All right, next fight. It is Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen. This is not a rematch. I don't know how these guys haven't fought each other yet. Marvin Vettori, 19-7-1. He is 2-3 in his last 5. Plus 8, 185 as the underdog. 31 years old. Trains at King's MMA. He's 6 foot tall. Brendan Allen, 24-7. 2-fight losing streak for both men. Minus 230 as the favorite. He is from Louisiana, Covington, Louisiana. I've been there. 29 years old, 6'2", and training at Killcliff FC. So, just quickly looking through their last couple fights. Allen lost the decision to Hernandez, Imavov, who I think we've now learned are like just the top of the middleweight division, right? Before that, he got a win over Chris Curtis, Paul Craig, and Bruno Silva. So, I mean, seriously, like a big divide between his last 5 opponents, right? The first 3, definitely the bottom tier, and then the top tier. So, losing 2 decisions to guys like that, I don't think is a bad thing. Also, Anthony Hernandez just kind of out Brendan Allen, right? With the grappling and just the pace. Marvin Vettori he beat Costa, lost to Whitaker, beat Dolidze, and his 2-fight losing streak is Cannonier and Dolidze again. Why did they rematch them? That makes no sense. Anyway, Marvin Vettori is a guy that the UFC has had high hopes for because he is from Italy. I do like Marvin Vettori, and also I think he's the younger of the two. No, Brendan Allen's actually younger. Man, I remember when Marvin Vettori was like 28, and we're like, oh, he's got so much time left. Man, and he hasn't really lived up to expectations. He's not very exciting, right? He's a solid fighter though, like especially on the feet. He is a good enough defensive grappler. So I do kind of like you have a striker versus grappler-ish kind of match here. One thing that I really do love about Marvin Vettori is the guy's got an iron chin. That fight with Paulo Costa was an absolute war. That was like Paulo Costa's last good fight. And, man, they just beat the hell out of each other in that fight, didn't they? Man. Brendan Allen, though, a guy that was kind of under a lot of people's radar, I feel like, for a long time in the middleweight division. A guy that just put a crazy pace on people and has fantastic wrestling. This is a very interesting fight. What are the odds on this one? I know I just read them off. Allen, a big favorite. Vettori, an underdog. I think that's fair. I think it's fair. Brendan Allen, I feel like has been more active as well. Yeah, definitely. Man, what is this? I say what a sick fight, but it's like for the rankings, right? Like I don't actually think this will be a great fight. I don't think it will be because neither of these guys have like the X factor. Brendan Allen's best quality is that he puts a crazy pace on dudes. And Marvin Vettori's best quality is he's just got an iron chin. I think the safe pick here is well, I'm pretty confident Brennan Allen will get this done. I think that over the course of 3 rounds, he's just going to have he's going to put the better pace on Marvin Vettori. The only thing that I call into question here is will he be able to implement a grappling game against Marvin? Because if not, I think that Marvin gets it. I'm going to quickly look at their stats on UFCstats.com. Let's see. Because now I'm interested. I don't know if I'm talking out of my ass now, just saying like, oh yeah, Marvin Vettori's got good takedown defense. Here, let's see. Might have to go to Fight Metric. Every time I try to go to their website, it says it's down. I think that Fight Center will give me some stats. There's a lot of fucking fights on this damn card. Okay, so we do have some stats. Significant strikes landed per minute favor Vettori. Accuracy favors Allen. Takedown average per 15 minutes. They both have the same. Interesting. Yeah, I'm picking Allen. I'm picking Allen easy. How do you see Pico versus Movzar going? Personally, I see Movzar getting the TKO in the 4th or 5th with ground and pound as Pico gasses out. Ooh. Is that fight on this card? God, I just feel like a retard. I don't think it is. Yeah, no. Patricio Pitbull's fighting on this card. Damn, that's a good ass fight. I think you're right, Diego. I like your pick there. Obviously, I'll be breaking it down a little more in depth when the fight is happening. TKO for Evloev. Damn, that's actually 4th or 5th because yeah, another guy with a crazy pace. I have high hopes for Pico. This is a rematch. We've all seen the first fight at that casino. Is it a rematch? I feel like it was. Oh, got it. Oh, at the Star. Man, that's a good. Yeah, you can go into my Discord. It's linked on my in my channel description. But I'll get you into some more like crazy Discords. Just go into mine and then I'll send you the link for other ones. Allen has a silly hat. That's a cheat code. Yeah, totally. Pico versus Movzar is such a sick fight. I think that's a little too much for Pico too soon. Because he never was champion in Bellator, and I think it's weird that he's getting like a super top ranked guy, and it doesn't really do anything for Movzar. So I actually don't like the fight, like as far as a meritocracy standpoint. But it is going to be a great fight, and I think that Pico obviously is so good on the feet, but we'll have to see how he deals with the pace of Movzar. So I will favor Movzar, but I think that Pico is going to give him a hell of a fight in the first 2 rounds for sure. Pico's just never made it out of the 3rd round, I believe. So his gas tank hasn't been tested. That is a great point. All right, let's go into the next fight. It's Kyler Phillips versus Loke Dog Vinicius Oliveira at bantamweight. Kyler Phillips 12-3, 3-2 in his last 5, plus 155 as the underdog. 30 years old, 5'8", 72-inch reach. Loke Dog, man, look at this run he's been on. 22-3. Getting wins in UAE Warriors Contender Series, UFC. He's on a 3-fight win streak. Got a sick, crazy knockout over Bernardo Sopai with that flying knee. Beat Ricky Simone and Said Nurmagomedov. So this guy is looking like a really good prospect in this weight class. He is minus 180 as the favorite, 29 years old, 5'9", and a 70.5-inch reach. Kyler Phillips, though, man, at one point was a solid prospect himself, but he hasn't been super active. I mean, look, he's got 5 fights in almost 4 years. And he's got his wins, his most recent wins over Marcelo Rojo, Ione Barcelos, and Pedro Munoz. But he lost that decision to Rob Font, and that was his big step-up fight. And I think what we learned about Kyler Phillips, speaking of gas tanks, is he doesn't really have one. Also, in his last fight, Kyler Phillips does so well when he's able to. He's got a lot of really cool techniques, right? Like he has a lot of cool spinning kicks, a lot of good flashy strikes, but he fought so conventional in his last fight with Rob Font, and that's like Rob Font's bread and butter, right? And Rob Font was kind of able to cruise against Kyler Phillips, so I think we finally saw that like maybe Kyler Phillips, I don't know what it is. Maybe he's not in the gym as much, and now he's starting to get a little older, right? Again, one time a really good prospect in the division, but just doesn't fight enough. And he's taking on Vinicius Oliveira, who again is he's a solid ass fighter. Super dangerous on the feet. I would say that Kyler Phillips needs to get this fight to the ground, but Vinicius Oliveira fought Ricky Simone, a really good wrestler in his own right, and just kind of cruised through him. So yeah, I think that Vinicius Oliveira is going to get this one done. I don't know about a KO in this one. I will pick Oliveira by decision. I think that he's just a way better striker. Has cleaner technique. And I think that Kyler Phillips is a little lost right now. He doesn't know exactly what kind of fighter he wants to be. Maybe he's got a good game plan cooked up for Vinicius Oliveira. But I think that I'm going to pick Vinicius Oliveira 29-28. Pretty easy decision for him. Silly. Oh, yeah. Silly Hat is better than. Yeah, I think so. Didn't Kyler pop for roids? I remember hearing that somewhere. I think you're absolutely right. I think he had a suspension popping for roids. None for Discord. Okay, let me link my Discord. I'll link it right now in the chat. Oh, you know what? I think that I'm not. I want to wait till I'm monetized to. I'm gonna try to like. What I'm gonna do is like when K1 and stuff happens, I'm gonna stream it to Discord, so I can have people pay for a membership, and then once they do, I'll send them the Discord link. So I think that's why I haven't linked it. Yeah, there's the link for it. Obviously, not monetized yet, and I don't have a lot of live viewers. So yeah, go ahead and join in. I'll get you into some more degenerate Discords. My Discord is like totally dead right now. Like it's basically dead. I don't do enough with it, but I'm just kind of waiting for monetization, and then hopefully it'll be more active. So, but yeah. Okay, next fight is Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. This is taking place at lightweight. Michael Johnson, 23-19 is his record. He is 3-2 in his last 5, plus 400. Heavy underdog. He is fighting out of Boca Raton, Florida, which, by the way, means rat's mouth. Thought that was weird. He's 39 years old, 5'10", and a 73.5-inch reach. Daniel Zellhuber, 15-2. 3-2 in his last 5 as well. Minus 575 as the favorite. He is fighting out of Mexico. He is 26 years old and he trains at Extreme Couture. So, let's see. Let's just take a look real quick. Fucking Otman Zaitar, dude. Michael Johnson knocked him out 6 months ago. He beat Darius Flowers, lost the decision to Carlos Diego Ferreira. It was a sick-ass fight. Beat Mark DeCasey and then lost the decision to Jamie Malarkey. That was also a great fight. Daniel Zellhuber just lost his last fight to Esteban Rivovic. That was on the Sphere card, and that was fight of the night. Great fight. Before that, he had a 3-fight winning streak over Francisco Prado, Christos Yagos, and Lando Venata. God, whatever happened to Lando Venata? And he lost to Trey Ogden. Man, so this is a classic. Hey, listen, Michael, you got to take on the prospect. You know what I'm saying? Um, the thing about Michael Johnson is as he ages out of the lightweight division, is two things that have not left him are his speed and his power. Um, Michael Johnson is so fast, and it impresses me every single time I watch him fight how damn fast he is. Um, with his hands, his hand speed is actually incredible. Daniel Zellhuber is he's a good fighter. He has really clean boxing technique. Um, I'm trying to like make the case for Michael Johnson to win this fight, but I mean, obviously he's so experienced. Daniel Zellhuber, the younger guy, had a war with Ribovic 9 months ago. Took the proper amount of time off. Hasn't really fought anybody good, so I actually love this fight for both men. Um, Lightweight prospect heat check, and let's bring in Michael Johnson to test him as a barometer for Daniel Zellhuber. But I don't know, man. I feel like Michael Johnson, as the fight goes on, he'll find himself behind, and I think he's gonna have to fight from behind and get a knockout over a guy that hasn't been knocked out. And I think that that's going to cost him in this fight. I'm going to pick Daniel Zellhuber by decision. I think that Michael Johnson's best hope is to knock this kid out. And the other thing is that we know Michael Johnson can wrestle, but he just refuses to. And you know this will be a stand-up fight. This is going to be a really, really good fight. So yeah, give me Daniel Zellhuber to win by decision. The next fight will be Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. I love this fight. Dan Ige, 19-9. He is he's only won 2 out of his last 5 fights, minus 180. 33 years old. Patricio Pitbull, 36-8. He's won 2 out of his last 3 as well, plus 150 as the underdog. 38 years old. 5'6", trains out of the Pitbull Brothers gym. Oh man, Patricio. At one point, we were hoping to see Patricio in the UFC and get a fight with Volk potentially, especially after he beat AJ McKee. But we finally got Patricio in the UFC, and again, one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter in Bellator history. I mean, he's top 3, right? And we finally got to saw him in the UFC against Jair Rodriguez. And what a disappointment that was, right? I mean, Jair made it look easy. He just kind of ran through Pitbull. Pitbull didn't do shit in that fight. But I like this fight for Pitbull a lot more because fighting a guy with actually a similar style, right? Guy with a lot of power, smaller, more compact dude. Both men. Actually, Dan Ige is more of a boxer, and I love Patricio Pitbull. He has that like karate stance. I would love to pick Patricio Pitbull just because I want to see him win. But at 30, what is he, 38? God damn. At 38 years old, man, Dan Ige, we know for sure is super legit. Pitbull out of his prime. I mean, lost to Pettis, Chihiro Suzuki, knocked out Jeremy Kennedy. That was his last fight in Bellator, and then lost that decision to Yair. And that was only 2 months ago. Actually, both of these guys fought on the card 2 months ago. Dan Ige got a knockout over Sean Woodson. I mean, like, you would imagine that if Yair fought Dan Ige, it would go the same way, right? So, I love this fight. I mean, I hope that Patricio, like, I want Patricio to have more life in him in this fight, right? Like, I don't want it to look like the Yair Rodriguez fight where you're just like, what is Patricio doing, dude? Like, didn't even look like the same guy. And is it a consequence of he's washed or UFC jitters? I mean, we'll have to see. If this was like 3 years ago, I would have picked Patricio hands down. But it's 2025, and this is the end of Patricio's career, really. And Dan Ige is so dangerous. I will say though, like that, I can see Patricio out techniquing him using all his tools. Because Dan Ige does kind of tend to, I think, just swing big and miss some of the in between, like shots that he could be doing, the work he could be doing to win rounds. But I really don't have any confidence in Patricio. And I feel like as well, like he hasn't been fighting top guys as of late. Like he beat Kleber Koki in Ryzen on the New Year's Eve show. Sergio Pettis and Chihiro Suzuki. I like Pettis a lot. I think he's a little undersized for Patricio. Suzuki, kickboxer, basically in Ryzen, but transitioned to MMA. And his last win is over Jeremy Kennedy, who is just not that good. So I got to pick Danny Ige in this fight, man. I just hope it's a good fight. I hope Patricio can show something. Ige slumps this old man. Danny Ige is a good matchup for Pitbull. Yeah, I really hope it ends up being good and not just Patricio looking like the corpse of Patricio Pitbull. Ige slumps this old man. God, I really hope not. That's why I'm going by decision. I'm like, Patricio's going to look a little bit better in this one. It's going to go to decision. But, geez, I fucking can't. Can you imagine if Ige just knocks him out cold? Fuck. Did you get the link for the Discord, Mr. C? Okay, next fight. Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. Why is this on the main card? Oh, because the UFC fucking loves Kevin Holland. Second place at welterweight. Holland minus 410 as the favorite. D-Rod plus 315 as the underdog. So I did say, like, hey, listen, Kevin Holland on the 2-fight win streak now. Got a sick win over Luque, where he darsed him. Beat Goonie. Almost knocked him out. But I did say after those wins, I'm like, listen, Kevin Holland, he's looking good in his last 2 fights. He's going to lose his next fight. And even if it's not his next fight, he'll lose his fight after that, because Kevin Holland is just a guy that has a great performance and then looks like dog shit in his next fight. So D-Rod is an interesting one. He's a dog. He fights really hard, but he's just not that good. He's on a 2-fight winning streak. He knocked out Ponzi Scheme, beat Moreno by split. That was a horrible fight. Before that, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. To Magny, Gary, and Gastelum. God, shit. I know that Kevin Holland is... I probably will end up picking Kevin Holland to win this fight. But I just don't know, man. I don't know. You never know what you're going to get with Kevin Holland. Like, we could see a great performance, or we could see him just look really stupid in there. I don't see Kevin Holland knocking Daniel Rodriguez out. I feel like Daniel Rodriguez has a really solid chin. And I feel like Daniel Rodriguez is going to put a lot of pressure on Kevin Holland. But, and again, this is going to be a stand-up fight. I'll probably have to pick Kevin Holland. You know, Kevin Holland, though, man, he is so good at finding a knockout, right? Like, I remember him watching him fight Cowboy Oliveira. And as the fight went on, I was like, oh, dude, he's got this. He's going to knock Cowboy out. Like, you could see from the first round, you're like, dude, he's going to find it. And so I think that you might see that in this fight, but I am going to go Kevin Holland by decision. But again, God, I don't even want to do that, because I just don't. I almost don't even want to make a pick here, because I'm just like, dude, D-Rod could beat him, because Kevin Holland is just, he just fights so stupid sometimes. He's an anomaly, man. I do like Kevin Holland's fights, though. I am going to pick him by decision. But, geez, I don't know why. I mean, the UFC just fucking loves Kevin Holland. They just want him to be somebody so bad. I got it, but it won't let me in. Oh, I have to accept you, I think. Here, let me check. It wouldn't work for me. Oh, really? Interesting. Here, let me try this really quick. Discord. 1 second. Back-to-back Darce chokes? No, I think the Darce choke was his last fight, and then his last fight was the decision win to Gunnar Nelson. He will lose his next fight at 85. That's a great point. Yeah, this is welterweight Kevin Holland, and he's not fighting a very good fighter. So yeah, definitely. Can he do a vaulter and string 3 together? That'd be sick. I don't think he's gonna sub D-Rod, and I don't think he doesn't really go for takedowns. He'd rather just have a stand and bang fight. I think I have to. Let me see. I have to send like an invite link. I think I sent the wrong link. Let me see. Here we go. Oh, oops. Here we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, here's the proper link. Kevin Holland's wins and losses perfectly follow the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, so if you're hip to that, then what do you think? Does he win this one? Fibonacci wise. All right, let's go to the next one. It is the co-main event. It's Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. It's taking place at 185. Paulo Costa 14-4, and those 4 losses have come within his last 5 fights. Yeah, the first one being Izzy, almost fucking 4.5 years ago. Goddamn, I remember that fight like it was yesterday. Marvin Vettori beat Luke Rockhold, lost to Whitaker and Strickland. Somehow got a split decision. Plus 225 as the underdog, 34 years old, 6'1", 72-inch reach. Roman Kopylov, 14-3. I mean, just look at this opposite record, right? Loss, loss, win, loss, loss, win, win, loss, win, win. Man. Minus 275 is the favorite, is Roman Kopylov. He's fighting out of Novosibirsk, Russia, 34 years old. Listen, Paulo Costa sucks now. He sucks. He doesn't do anything in fights. He just waits and waits and waits. Roman Kopylov will win this fight just based on volume. And again, I haven't seen Paulo Costa's run up to like pre-Izzy. Okay, I did not watch those fights. The fact that you're having a competitive fight with a guy like Luke Rockhold tells me everything I need to know. I don't know what his problem is. I really, really don't. Is it that he doesn't want to take like I don't know. It's so weird. The way Paulo, like I almost think like Izzy just broke his brain. You know what I'm saying? Like when they fought, like I think he just broke his brain and he's not able to fight anymore or something. Like I don't know what's happening with Paulo Costa. And what's interesting about watching Paulo Costa fight is he's just like this big jacked dude, and he just doesn't do shit anymore in fights. But I will say that aside from Izzy, he is hard to knock out. I'm gonna pick Kopylov by decision. Did Paulo Costa pull out yet? That's funny. If we follow the notch, Kevin should lose. Okay. I'm hoping that he does. I hope Paulo shaves New York Rick's hair again. What? Anime goof stole his soul. I hope Paulo waxes New York Rick's back. What? Dude. I mean, it's just like there's no case to be made here for Paulo Costa. I mean, he's got power. I don't know. I don't know what Paulo Costa is even doing anymore. Like, remember when he was like fighting with the UFC for fucking like more money and all this shit, and he wanted to be released? I don't know what's happening with him. It's honestly strange to see somebody so young look like a shot fighter. You know, like again, I just thinking about it, it's like I think Izzy broke his brain and he just can't fight anymore, you know? because he was undefeated up before then, and then he took his first knockout loss, and he's still like just not sure what to do. But he's very funny on Twitter. I'll give him that. All right, main event. Max Holloway versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Blessed versus Diamond for the BMF title. I mean, the most significant title in the sport, right? Easily. The third fight. Max Holloway, 26-8. Dustin Poirier, 30-9. And this is basically a pick'em here. Obviously, Dustin Poirier has the more power, just straight up power. We've seen him in wars. We've seen him get sick knockouts over young prospects as of late. We even saw Dustin Poirier show some defensive wrestling chops in his fight against Islam Makhachev, which I was not expecting to see. Max Holloway, on the other hand, obviously, he was so young when he won the belt at featherweight, and then obviously the Volkanovski fights were all great. I feel like he got robbed in the first one. Second one was close, and then the third one, I mean, Volk just cooked him. It was interesting. Obviously, suffering his first knockout loss ever in his career. There's a great stat that he's like absorbed the most punches without being knocked out, and Ilia Topuria was the guy that broke that. And then he knocks out Justin Gaethje, and it wasn't even a competitive fight. And in the last seconds of the fight, he just floors Justin Gaethje, which was an amazing moment. One of the best moments I've seen in MMA, honestly. And I was watching that fight with my sister, who we used to watch fights together, but we hadn't in a long time. And then I think it was just for 300. We were like, yo, like, let's, was it 300? I think it was. We were like, yo, like, you want to watch 300? And it was cool to kind of get, to watch fights with my sister, a little nostalgic moment, And when Max knocked out Justin, like, my sister damn near cried, and I freaked out. It was so amazing. So we get these moments from Max Holloway. And me and my sister have watched a lot of good ones together, like Calvin Kattar versus Max. And so I love Max Holloway. One thing I will say about this fight, though, is that when they first fought, they're both super young. The second fight, I feel like Max didn't bulk up to lightweight properly. And also, I feel like he was green. Like, I've made the case on some other podcasts that, like, I think that Max Holloway has way more tools now. Like you saw in the Kattar fight, he was throwing elbows for like the first time in his career. Justin Gaethje fight, he's now throwing teep kicks, or oblique kicks and shit. Using so many things to misdirect people, move people in the direction he wants. Max Holloway is really so good now. Like, he has so many more tools. Obviously, he just got knocked out by Ilia Topuria for the first time in his career. But again, bouncing back over a dangerous guy like Justin and just making it look easy. I mean, both of these guys are so decorated. Such great fighters. Man, dude, I mean, this is a tough one to pick. I don't think either man gets finished in this fight. I will say that. Max Holloway has a lot more tools in his bag. I think that Dustin is going to be the most dangerous when he gets you up against the fence line, and he's able to kind of just start landing combos on you. But honestly, like, and also I think we have to factor in that this is Dustin Poirier's last fight. He said after this fight he's not fighting anymore. And really they kind of just built this card around him because they wanted him to get his retirement fight in Louisiana. He is from Lafayette, but Louisiana or New Orleans is just I think it's like 2 hours away. Lafayette's a cool place. I gotta pick Max here. I gotta pick him by decision. I know that he lost the 2 fights to Dustin already, but I don't know, man. I just feel like Max is just so much better. just has so many more tools. The X factor is obviously for Dustin would be that he's just a lot stronger, but I think that Max has done a lot better work bulking up to lightweight. But I think that we're just going to get a banger fight. I think this is going to be, I mean, seriously, none of these guys are ever in a boring fight. I thought that the Justin Gaethje fight was not boring, but it was so one-sided that it wasn't as entertaining as we thought it would be. But seriously, I mean, Dustin Poirier is like all-time fucking lightweight action fighter. You know what I'm saying? And it's so great that his last fight is against a guy like Max Holloway. I gotta pick Max here. I gotta pick Max. I don't know though, man. Like this is a pick 'em for a reason, and I'm just so fucking glad that this fight's happening. Let's read some comments. Hey, what's up, Andrew? How you doing? I am feeling better after the spicy noodles. They almost got me though. I got Dustin winning by decision. He looked good in the Islam fight and gave it his all. He still got it, and with it being in his home state, I see him having that edge mentally. Okay, I don't think that any pick is bad, honestly. If Max loses, does it tarnish his legacy going 0-3 against two fighters? Ooh. No, it doesn't tarnish his legacy. Max Holloway has given us so many great moments. No way. I think Max Holloway will get Dustin, but I know that Dustin wouldn't lose against him or anyone in a double, thinking that Dustin will win it. Solid take there. What up, mate? Made the last fight pick. Good to see you, Nick. Good to see Chris Gray. Big fan of both. I feel like Max might take it by stoppage. Wow. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Max Holloway knocks Dustin Poirier out? Man. Max by UD. That's what I'm going. That's what I'm going. Let me actually fucking save my picks this time. I didn't save them last week. All right, there we go. Does Poirier try to take a page from Ilya's book and back him against the cage? Can he even do it? That's the question, right? Like, I think that he should, and I think that that's his best path to victory. But I don't know, dude. I have no idea. Like, I don't even know really how this fight's going to go. I just know that, again, Max has so many more tools. I got to pick him by decision. But Dustin is a fucking dog, dude. He's such a dog. He could very well win this fight as well. I think Dustin full. Oh, by the way, what's up, Aaron Tats? Good to see you, man. Don't see you in too many of my live streams, and I really appreciate you letting me post my stuff in your Discord. So thank you very much. Very entertaining. The Matua channel. I mean, come on. I think Dustin folds to the pressure of the last fight being in his home state in front of his family and friends. Jeez, Chris, you doing all right there, buddy? All right, you need to talk because man, that's a dark take. I think Max is going to maintain distance with many front and side kicks to Dustin's body. Yeah, the Matua channel. Damn straight. To me, Dustin isn't the type of guy to succumb to pressure, especially with him being a vet. I agree with you, Diego. I think this is going to be a competitive fight. I just think that Max Holloway is going to edge it out. Seriously. It'll be a great fight, though. Okay, now here's the big question. For you guys. Does Max Holloway point to the center of the cage at some point in this fight? And if so, how does that go? Does Dustin go out like the legendary combat casual superfan Lionheart Anthony Smith? Fuck you, dude. I'm banning you from the channel. I'm more excited for Oliveira versus Phillips over the main event. Really? Because I don't see that fight as very competitive. You are so right about everything. Andrew B said it first. You heard it here first. But I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. I don't see that fight as very competitive. Definitely. Okay. So when Max points to the center of the cage, how does that go? You know? I don't know, dude. I mean, Dustin is going to accept and they're gonna swing. I think Dustin is gonna be successful in that exchange. I do too. I like Loke Dog a lot. Me too, dude. He's a sick prospect. The thing about Kyler Phillips is I think he's confused about what kind of fighter he wants to be. Oh, you know what? I quickly wanted to talk about Usyk versus Dubois. I know that this is a 318 preview, but I really quickly wanted to talk about that because I'm pretty damn sure. Oh no. Wait, isn't this taking place this weekend? Usyk. The 19th. Yeah. Fuck out of here. Fucking Tapology ads. The diamond might get slumped, dude. Can you imagine that? Dustin gets dropped but survives and makes it go from split to UD in the last round. Let's hear it. Dustin might actually get Max down in that exchange, considering Max's chin might have weakened due to Ilya. Yeah. I mean, I like that. Like, I agree with that, but I also feel like it's just Ilya Taporia, and the guy's just got wicked power. So I don't know, like, if we're gonna have to say like he's his chin is compromised. Then Max butters his Pop-Tart after. Dude, that's diabolical. Eating a Pop-Tart in general is bad, and then you throw butter on it. Like, yo. Yeah, I quickly want to talk about Usyk versus Dubois because I don't know any other fights that are taking place on this card. I don't know about. I need to watch more boxing. I watched more boxing last weekend than I have like in the last year, and it was fun. It was fun. My guy Subriel Matias won. Yeah. So Usyk versus Dubois. Their first fight was almost only 2 years ago, and it's so interesting because Dubois for so long was known as like a quitter, and after that fight with Usyk, that narrative kept up because he took those shots to the body and took a knee. Obviously, Usyk. Everyone said, "Oh, there was a body shot. He should have lost." And it's like, I don't agree with that. I think it's up to the referee's description. The referee's discretion. Sorry, Jesus Christ. And I don't agree with that. I don't think that Usyk should have lost the fight. And since then, after beating Dubois, Usyk has had his duology with Tyson Fury, and I think he leveled up even more in the last one. The first one was closer. The last one, he made it look easy. Daniel Dubois, since then, though, he has a hell of a fight with Jarrell Miller. Beat Philippe Herkovich in a fight that I thought would be super, super tough, and I rated Philippe Herkovich very highly. And then he fucking dog walked Anthony Joshua 9 months ago. So Daniel Dubois is the most confident that he's been. But Alexander Usyk, I mean, he's a master boxer. Undersized at heavyweight, but still so fast. He kind of fights like Vasily Lomachenko, just like up at heavyweight. Best cruiserweight of all time. I don't know, man. Like, again, I think that Dubois' only hope, and really everybody's only hope to beat a guy like Alexander Usyk, is you got to knock him out. And he's just not there to be knocked out. So, yeah, give me Usyk by decision. But damn it, I fucking love heavyweight boxing, especially when the lineal championship is on the line. Yeah, fucking A, man. Love the lineal championship. If you guys are interested, there's a sick ass channel out there called Rummy's Corner, and he does a great video on the lineal championship, all the way from John L. Sullivan up to Alexander Usyk. So, yeah, this is like the shit that I nerd out about. So, Rummy's Corner, lineal heavyweight title video. Sorry, I kind of diverted from MMA talk and went to boxing for a second. After a guy gets KO'd for the first time, I feel like it does something to him. You're absolutely right. I don't know. I don't know if Max Holloway he's built different, and I don't think it's going to affect him like all that much. And he's still pretty young. Met Max at 2017 at an event. Told him back then the fight to make was Tony Ferguson. You guys fry butter out there in them parts? No. Your Pop-Tart is in my DM. What? There is also... Oh, your wife is in me DMs. There's also PBC this weekend. Yeah. Yeah, who's boxing on PBC? Premier Boxing Champions. That's right. And that's a great card. That's a sick-ass card. Dubois by low blow. Usyk beats Dubois by late round KO. Yeah. Daniel will blow his load trying to finish Usyk in the early round. You know what? That's a great. You broke it down pretty good, Chris Gray. In an alternate universe, Dubois beat Usyk once because it wasn't a low blow. JDM lineal BMF. That's true. Aaron Tatz is absolutely right about that because the BMF title was George Masvidal's, and then he got knocked out by Usman. And then, yeah, so the lineal BMF title is the welterweight title. Yes, Americans fry butter and Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I've never seen that. That's diabolical, though. Yeah, Manny Pacquiao is back fighting Mario Barrios. Sebastian Fundora versus Tim Tszyu, though. That's a fight worth watching. Esau Cruz on the card. Brandon Figueroa, the Heartbreak Kid. He's very fun to watch. Gary Russell Jr. And Mark Magsayo is a really interesting prospect. So, yeah, that card's sick. Angel Fierro is fighting Tim Tszyu versus Fundora 2, Pac-Man, and maybe his last fight. I just sure hope it's his last fight. Maybe it's more of a southern thing in, like, Kentucky. Napoleon Bonaparte has a great video on the heavyweight lineal championship for MMA. That is absolutely true. Yeah, and I love Napoleon Bonaparte's videos. But, hey, I've been streaming for an hour and a half. Thank you guys for joining. So glad the chat's been active. Seems like when I don't have Geo on stream, people are more engaged. So Pandora is 6'4" at heavyweight, right? Featherweight, right? Yes, that is absolutely true. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here though, as I have work in the morning. So peace the fuck out. I'll be doing a fight companion for the UFC. I'll check the schedule. Maybe I'll do a live chat. I tried to put while I was in Sydney, I tried to put up a community post and asked you guys to ask questions for a live chat. So maybe I'll attempt it again. But if I don't get enough questions, then I probably just won't do it. But yeah, I'll try to get a schedule up as well, so you guys can come to my channel and see what time the streams are, all that stuff. Take care. Hey, appreciate all you guys. Diego, I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, so it's nice to see you. Glad that Dr. Pinar found my channel from the K1 Fight Companion. So yeah, I'm getting out of here. Thanks once again, guys. Peace.
What happened, Jack?